100,000 people started Zwift Academy.
And we're down to just 6. 3 men and 3 women.
It's going to be brutal.
There was some stress.
I was a bit nervous to bring somebody down.
Anton had some punchy qualities. Mattia and Louis not.
She has the best number.
It's not just about how many watts you can push.
These riders had never met each other before Zwift Academy. They knew of each other once the final list was revealed. I've spoken to the riders and they said immediately the first thing they did was check out Zwift and Strava, look at their data, look at the climbs, look at their strengths, look at their weaknesses.
Of course I have to look up their Strava activities to see how they perform. They're doing a bit of research and looking at the numbers to compare myself against them.
The last month I checked a little bit who could be the finalists, and so I knew one of them because I was sure he would be in the final.
But the other guy, the German competitor, I didn't knew him before.
They didn't know me because I'm not that in social media, and so it's kind of hard to find me.
He's actually on the same level, if not higher.
I think we are pretty close. The power numbers from the Zwift Academy workouts were all pretty similar, so it's going to be a tight fight.
Second day on our training camp, the riders will perform an insight test.
We just have an easy 20 to 23 Ks. We meet up at the top of Valdebo. There we give you the target powers, and that's it.
The test itself, it's about 4 progressive intervals. They will just do 3 times 6 minutes progressively, let's say around 4, 5, almost 5.5 watts a kilo. And then they also do a 4-minute all-out.
Day 1 was just a general assessment for the men's finalists. Then day 2 is going to be our first opportunity to really see what these guys have got.
We have something which we call physiological data charts of the rider to make some kind of typology. Based on that we can have an idea, okay, genetically he is close to a real sprinter, he is close to, let's say, a marathon runner. We try to scale the profile somewhere there, and from there on we start thinking, okay, what can we do with this guy?
So you saw the 2 coins. The lowest one is the start of the 6 minutes, and the highest one is the one from the 4 minutes. Mattia 340, Luis 340, Anton 315.
One of the most important days today because we see for the first time numbers.
We have to make some kind of assumption on the first 6-minute interval, on the power that we think, okay, this is where we start with, and from there on we just progress and make it harder.
Here in 15 minutes. You are ready? Yes. Okay.
For this test to work, we need the riders to actually produce lactate on each effort. But it wasn't the case for our finalists.
For the finalists, there was nothing happening in the body at 5 watts a kilo.
Hey Tom.
Luis, I just did the hard day for sports science.
So they had to do it all over again. And they were a little baffled by it.
Sometimes we underestimate 1 or 2 riders out of the 30. Today we missed 100% of our Zwift finalists 2 times. I have to say this is the best level in the Zwift Academy that I saw the last 3 to 4 years actually. Luis is still very young. He's about small 68 kilos.
With the 6-minute intervals, I was quite satisfied because they were not that exhausting. 4-minute all-out test, that it wasn't that good as I hoped for.
6 watt per kilo already.
They all have about a threshold in FTP power that is relatively above 6 watts a kilo. That's huge. Producing that with only 19 years old, we think there is some kind of margin to develop that in a proper way in a top environment. You don't know where his limits actually are.
Please tell me. 490, I think.
490 time?
90, yes. I think 3 minutes 50.
350.
We have one guy who is standing out there a little bit on type of rider, and that is Mattia. He is the most GC rider type of the three.
Also GC profile, but already 24 years old. Is it good enough to do the effort for us as a team to try to fit him in? We are not sure about it yet.
After yesterday, the sprints, we saw that he can never fit in our classical team or in our lead-out team. So it's confirmed now that he is a GC guy. The question was, will it be good enough? And after today, we have to say yes. Well, he has a quite low anaerobic capacity, but he is able to go in a very efficient way, very long on the fat burning capacity. So he is very efficient in producing energy, which also means from day to day that he is a GC rider, that he will recover pretty well in between the stages.
I think it was a good day. I had the chance to show my level and to show how hard I trained to get here. So I think I can be happy with that.
The next question now will be, can he produce those great numbers after some fatigue coming in? Anton, he is a lightweight guy when we have to compare them to the three. So he is the guy with about 62 kilos.
My father is a quite good athlete, so we did the first rides always together. This is how I grew up, pretty much riding with my father. The first sport I did was a bit of athletics, so mostly running. And then when I was 11 years old, I changed to triathlon. 3 years ago, I changed to cycling because I had some problems with running and a lot of injuries. So I thought maybe I need a little change, and then I started focusing just on cycling. I was always very ambitious. I think in the beginning maybe also a bit too ambitious. My parents had always to calm me down a bit. I wanted to train more and they said, no, you're just 13, 14 years old. And they said, no, today is just a rest day. And I was screaming, I want to go for a ride.
Anton ist sehr selbstbewusst, Anton ist sehr selbstständig. Er ist auf der einen Seite ein Einzelkämpfer, weil er immer auch alleine Sport gemacht hat, trainiert hat, aber er kann sich auch sehr gut in Gruppen integrieren.
I'm getting a bit older, I'm now 24, and because of my late switch to cycling, it's hard to get into the really good teams or to make the step into World Tour or at least Pro Tour. And I think Zwift Academy is a good opportunity. If you can join a really big team like Alpecin, it's probably one of the last chances, I would say, to get into professional cycling.
From Anton you expect real high relative numbers. He has to make the difference there. We have to say he also did that. He has the highest FTP relative power of the three. And he is quite well in balance with his punch capacities also. His general level is really high, but for the moment he is not the purest GC rider of the three.
6.5 watt kilo down, which is really good already. He has still some punch qualities left.
Anton, can you tell me time and power?
3 minutes 50, and I'm not 100% sure, I think 472. But I didn't look in the last maybe 20 seconds.
Yeah, he looks more like Ardennes type of rider. So Liège-Bastogne-Liège things.
Next question is then, how is it possible? 24 years old, these qualities, uphill, where was he? How did it come that nobody saw him before?
Our first thing is always looking at the general quality. And yeah, the general quality is extremely high.
I think we all quite impressed the judges probably.
Only 3 candidates and all 3 a very high level already. So it won't be easy, but it will be up to us to pick the right one.
But I think it's fair to say, just based on the stats alone, at this point, Anton seems to have the edge.
If I just look at the numbers, I would say that Anton is in the lead for now, but I'm still there with the age gap of 4 to 5 years within the finalists, and there the big question mark is, can Louis close the gap?
I grew up in France, in the Alps, so quite a sporting community. I got into cross-country skiing, really enjoyed it, and as part of summer training it was like running, cycling, just general fitness. I moved to London, started work. I work in finance for a bank on a trading floor. I'd done some triathlon at university. I joined the local cycling club just because I wanted to meet people that were enthusiastic about their hobby, whatever it was. For a long time I used a watt bike and I wasn't even on Zwift. What Zwift has added to the journey is very much the sort of human interaction. All of a sudden you're competing against real people. You sort of want to outperform everyone else, not just for yourself, but because that you know there are other people slogging away in their sort of pain cave somewhere. It makes me feel part of a broader community.
Katie Hill with a big effort over the top. She's going to hold on and take the points on the line. Katie Hill for Team Ionian.
And I think what's amazing with Zwift is how it enables all this cycling in a way that can fit in around life. My mum is my coach. It means that our relationship is like multifaceted and that she's my mum and she's also my coach. And I think we try and draw the line between the two.
She approached me 3 or 4 years ago now and said, can you help me? She said, I'm trying really, really hard, but I'm not getting anywhere. Over time, we just kind of gradually built it up and it's culminated in this, which is just so exciting for both of us.
Today you're cold?
Yeah, a bit. So if you're doing any sprints before you sprint against them.
Yeah, I'm not.
So, where we are, finalists.
Whoa.
Second day.
So?
So what you already know is that we're going to do endurance ride, which is going to be 5 hours. Within this endurance ride, we will have some tasks where we're going to see your skills.
Okay, so it's 131 kilometers. You've seen the route, so it's a hilly route. And at the start, after kilometer 13, each Zwift rider is going to be paired with one pro, and you do a 20-second sprint. Order is Zoe, you sprint against Laura. Aga, you sprint against Katie. And Cassia, you sprint against Maddie.
Okay, girls, we'll start shortly.
They paired us up with some of the World Tour riders who could have gone better.
My arms and legs are still cold.
Maddie is not a sprinter.
My opponent was Zoe Beckstedt. So, I said, this maybe won't go so smooth. After 1 second, she was gone. Like, boom. I was like,
It certainly was a very humbling experience for them, but an important one nonetheless.
We're not looking at any of the riders being able to deliver a result in a bunch sprint, but the sprint capacity is so important in cycling, just to be able to respond to those moves that are going, being able to jump on the wheel of someone that's attacking, try and get away yourself. Cycling isn't just at one pace, it's kind of that constant stop-start in particular races, so you have to have that snap, and if you don't have it, then you make life really difficult for yourself.
We want to win. Canyon SRAM wants to win, and whether that is a classic, whether that is a GC win, whether it is a Worlds win, Olympics win, we want to win. We want to be the best.
We always have the freedom to try things, and we are not afraid to go for it and be aggressive, and we have nothing to lose.
We really work well together on and off the bike, and that's what makes us, such a fierce competitor for everybody in the peloton.
I love working for others and supporting others and trying to allow them to believe in their dreams and capture it, especially with young riders.
It's fantastic that we have the Canyon SRAM generation team, and I think for Canyon SRAM they really led the way before it became allowed almost by the UCI to have an official development team.
Joining the generation team gives his winner of the Zwift Academy a slightly more calm approach to turning professional. It provides them a better stepping stone into the world of professional cycling that has changed.
For the professional team, you need to deliver the results. Here we are happy that the riders are developing. Actually, this is a team to make mistakes, but more importantly, to learn from those mistakes.
In the middle section of the ride, there was multiple skill tests. Dropping back to the car to pick up bidons, taking instructions from the car, going back into from the group.
We've got the eagle eyes in the back of the car that we're always watching them. So in 5Ks, we'd give bottles from the side of the road. We're really trying to keep an eye on them at all times, and then also getting feedback from the riders, from the World Tour team also, as to how they're riding in the group and how they seem as people.
I was messaging some friends this morning asking for advice on how to take a bottle from a car. And they were really helpful and sent me a YouTube video to watch. So massive thanks to them.
Perfect. Put on some bigger gear. Watch out with the car. Oh, nice. You're already better than most of the peloton.
How's the saddle? Did Katie come back for leave her jersey back?
Yeah, the first time she came back to the car, she was she got the bottle and she was really confident with it, because she's probably never done this in a race before.
No.
It was really good.
Yeah, you got to put the expectations on.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
Like this.
You like this, exactly. Exactly, so I can.
Yeah. Thank you. Push.
Yeah.
Hello.
I was asking him how should I pick it to that I can get a little bit of help,
Thank
Just
you.
this?
Yes.
Okay, so in around 5 kilometers, we're going to start the pace line efforts.
Rolling through just to see how they could handle riding close to the wheel in front and keep that pace high, but importantly, nice and smooth. The thing that struck me the most to differentiate the three finalists was the skill of Maddie and of Laura in particular, whilst Katie, although she clearly was strong, was just a little bit hesitant on the wheels.
Okay, good, hold it there. Good job. Stop. Give him a beep, maybe. So girls, in the final sprint, we have Rika with Laura, Aga with Katie, and Nastia with Maddie.
Okay, let's the motorcycles move up, We'll start the first one.
The second sprint I had with the Ricarda Barnfeld very well, and like I went past her, so I think it was good.
Laura was able to put more power after the 4-hour ride than in the beginning.
In the end of the race, like when you go to a sprint in a little group, especially with climbers, I may be the strongest.
That's massively important because you need to be able to deliver that sort of power at the back end of a race if you're going to win bike races or play a part in their ultimate outcome.
Her physiology is more like a climber / time trialist, I would say. For that type of rider, she have also a really snappy sprint, so I think it's all good. There is something that we can definitely build on.
Absolute power is very important as well in a sprint for the speed that can be generated. So Laura had the edge on that. She was 3.5 kilometers an hour faster at her peak speed than Katie, for example. Maddie was basically somewhere in the middle.
So at the end of day 2, and the gaps are only marginal, we've got 3 very strong finalists here, but for me, it had to be Laura. She was explosive in the sprints, she didn't fatigue too much at the end, and technically, she was superb.
I'm Laura Šiment. I come from Slovenia. I'm 33 years old. I'm a veterinarian and a hobby cyclist. I work in the veterinary faculty. I'm assistant professor for parasitology and I work in the parasitology laboratory. I got a very good job proposal to do my PhD and become a doctor of science. It's very important also for my career after cycling. When I was a kid, I did many sports. I was a very sporty child. I did running, climbing trees, roller skating. But then when I was a teenager, I started with triathlon, and from that I went into cycling. With triathlon, I was a national champion. I won many competitions as an amateur cyclist. I was also an amateur world champion 2 times in road race. Between cycling and my career as a veterinarian, I always had to combine it a little bit. Becoming a professional cyclist was a dream from the beginning. Being in Slovenia was not the best country to get known by cycling teams because we are small. I always ask some friends who have big firms, please let's do a women pro team. But I didn't manage yet, but I was working on this already.
We see that some riders have better technical skills, some riders have a better punch, The physical numbers that they were putting out in the inside test, it's splitting hairs between the three of them. Every rider comes with pros and cons. There's no rider that would be a bad fit for the team, let's put it that way.